Dream Team, it's your boy D Neal back with another reaction video, guys. Here we are with Friendly Jordies once again. Australians are poor now. Before we jump into this video and hear what he's talking about, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, ring notification bell, get a video a thumbs up so it gets suggested. This title shocked me because I'm like, Australia, like their minimum wage is ridiculous. Like, how could they possibly be poor? So let's find out what he's saying.
I've got to apologise. I know that for the last 10 years straight I've been saying that Labor being in power would make the average Australian better off. But shit! Look at this! Australia records the biggest income decline in the developed world. Now, albeit the fall did begin under the Liberals, but it's continued and sharpened under Albanese. Look at the annual gross change in disposable income per capita from June 22. Bam!
Wow.
Worst in the OECD. And if that's not enough, now we're in a per capita recession. Now, obviously, this has been caused by a myriad of things, but I think we can all blame it on the runaway inflation caused by the global domino effect of Mr. Beast's massive Keynesian programs. Mr. Beast, please stop giving away free chocolate.
Insane amount of money he lost if he's... Bro, Mr. Beast gives away free money and everything, bro. I wish Mr. Beast would watch my channel and throw me some free money, but more importantly, throw me some views, throw me some subscribers, throw me some of those. But nah, Mr. Beast is absolutely awesome. But yeah, and I just finished watching that Honest Government ads where it's like they were talking about, it's like both in their video they're like both parties are trash, like both parties are corrupt. Both parties don't give a F about the people, Labor or Liberal. So I can relate and I can understand that. But talk to me, Friendly.
You think there aren't enough skinny fat people in the world? And as for this 10,000 random acts of kindness, Jesus Christ, Jimmy, do you know how much that'll f the economy? You've got to offset that shit by killing at least 300 puppies and blinding 100 babies. Now, obviously, that was jocular, not because of the inclusion of Mr. Beast, but because all the evidence suggests that inflation isn't being caused on the demand side. Also, all the evidence suggests that Mr. Beast can't close his mouth. Go on, try and find a photo of him where you can't see his teeth. Oh wait, discretionary spending is dropped, retail sales are declining, spending's just down. So it would be pretty stupid to blame inflation on regular Australians having too much money, wouldn't it? Because as pointed out in the intro, Australians have the least amount of disposable cash they've had for a long time. Now, this should be a pretty simple concept to understand, but apparently it's too technical for Shadow Treasurer Angus Taylor, who puts out press release after press release blaming Labor's reckless spending for inflation. My favourite is this headline: "Nothing technical about inflation, Payne. Nothing technical about inflation, it's just Labor's fault." In the article, Angus blames an increase in government spending for 5.2% inflation against the backdrop of a federal budget surplus and sharp declines in consumer spending. It's almost like he's trying to cover for someone. Could it be Mr. Beast? He's planning on replacing Chandler? Doesn't he look a bit like Chandler? Not from Friends, from Mr. Beast. Like, come on, it's him if he went through a couple of tough divorces. In the article, he says,
dang, he does make a good point. When you put him side by side, it's him if you went through a couple of tough divorces. Possibly.
This is a government missing in action on the fight against inflation and is distracted by its Canberra voice and repaying favours to its biggest donors, the unions. Well, at least now they've got the Canberra voice to complain about. It's saved it from being the same template we've heard for decades. I lied though, it's not my favourite headline. My favourite press release by the Liberals is this one, authored by Deputy Liberal leader Susan Ley. For those of you who don't remember, that is the woman who changed her name because of numerology, who may just take my governance by the woman who
she believed it would alter her personality based on the bizarre mystical theory of numerology. The stuff that they get you to believe in this world these days, the things that they make people believe is wild. Insanity.
Changed her name because of numerology, who may just take my governance by numerology joke from this video a little too seriously. Look at this. The truth about Albo and space. I don't even need to read it. That headline's enough. I'm just going to imagine it's a hard-hitting expose that uncovers a more fitting sledge for our Prime Minister than Airbus Albo. UFO Albo. We would have a napper if I could pronounce it. I was bitterly disappointed too when I read past the headline of Angus's article as he blamed unions and government spending for inflation, conveniently ignoring the main driver of inflation, recently confirmed by the OECD to be corporate profits. Just listen to what the Australian Council of Trade Unions points out. Profits from Coles, up 17.1%. Woolworths up 14%. IAG, Australia's top general insurer. How's this? Profits of 140% increase. Origin Energy profits up 83.5%. Segregated World Bank, Soros Gates, Voice of Parliament, Cabal up by 250%. Where? They're publishing it now, eh? It's apparent that all these companies have massive latitude to reduce prices and therefore reduce inflation, but you won't hear a word about that from the Liberal Party. Well, apart from the Secret World Union, Soros Gates, Voice of Parliament, Cabal. Apart from that, though, according to them, it's the workers' fault Woolworths are now charging $50 for some razor blades, despite the fact that we're spending less overall. It doesn't...
How could it be the workers' fault? How they control what Woolworth charge over the razor blade? Get a razor blade. Nah, that's crazy, bro. But I mean, I feel like that's life. Like, at least here in America, where profit is about everything, where big businesses always gets the breaks, and you know what I'm saying? They always get richer, even if we're going. The rest of the people are going through a recession, are struggling. Cost of living is tough. Everything is getting tough. The corporations and big businesses never feel that. You feel me? They always up. When are they? They're always up. So that's just how it be. I've accepted it at this point.
Makes sense, does it? Now watch this scene from Austin Powers 3.
Here we go. 1975. Good luck, Austin.
1975. Yeah, baby, yeah!
Pretty good, eh? Great movie. And it's an incredible analogy for Angus, the rest of the Liberal Party, and corporate elite. Do you get it? They've mentally gone back to 1975. That's what we're trying to say here. Where there was a case where labour costs were a significant factor causing inflation. Look, okay, I know it doesn't make much of a link, but just tell me your dopamine receptors aren't firing after seeing that Austin Powers clip, eh? Like Now, tank your dopamine levels. It's not the 1970s, so it's faulty to pretend that labour costs are the main driver of inflation. Listen to this from the OECD. The recent period, so far at least, is unlike the 1970s in that GDP inflation was generally much higher in the 1970s, notably on account of stronger increases in unit labour costs. And the OECD isn't some hippy-dippy lefty think tank either. It's a very important intergovernmental organisation. Its Secretary General is Matthias Cormann, Angus Taylor's old colleague, and the OECD is pretty much refuting the Liberal Party's economic vision, confirming earlier analysis completed by the Australia Institute, which also laid blame for inflation on runaway corporate profits. And the Australia Institute isn't some hippy-dippy think tank. Oh, actually, yeah, that one is. But they're right. Okay. Just look at the graph. And then look at this graph. These are the real wages of Australians. They've been dropping for 3 years, just finally starting to plateau a few months ago.
Dang.
Whilst on the other
index of real, dang, boy, that COVID, gee. But remain at 2009 levels. Hey, COVID had y'all rich. COVID had y'all rolling in the dough. You feel me? Keep it rolling.
Dropping for 3 years, just finally starting to plateau a few months ago. Whilst on the other hand, corporate profits are well above historical norms. I mean, it's good that wages are finally moving. A direct result of the Secure Jobs Better Pay Act that Labor passed, as well as other union initiatives. You can watch my video on that here. If you're insane, it's a year old and not topical anymore, just buy tickets to my live show instead. That's based on a topic that is not a year old, it's 2 years old. Anyway, it's clear these reforms were not enough, and that's why Labor has been attempting to address this with further industrial relations reforms. Most recently, their Closing Loopholes bill, which has proved to be quite contentious, both within the Senate and, as the press likes to call them, the business community. The bill really shouldn't be controversial, as the title suggests. It's designed to close loopholes businesses have used to artificially suppress wages for years. It'll stop businesses from using labour hire to undercut workers. It'll introduce fines for misclassifying workers as casual, and it'll criminalise wage theft. These are hardly radical changes, especially in the face of dramatically declining standards of living for Australian workers, yet they're being fought tooth and nail by the Business Council. And companies like Qantas and BHP. Buy a shirt. No, but come on, they are a of a company, and I'm not. That's why you should support me.
He abuses us.
I could agree with Friendly Jordies. I could agree with Friendly Jordies. If that's what he says, that's what I believe. Simple and plain. I don't need to do research to figure out if he's telling the truth. I believe it.
Help.
It's also a damn shame that crossbenchers like Jackie Lambie and David Pocock are holding off support on this bill in full immediately when we are living in a cost of living crisis. Instead of splitting the bill up and passing private members' bills that contain the less contentious aspects of the bill, i.e. aspects that are less likely to impact corporate profits and help workers increase their wages, the coalition and business groups are now pushing to delay the main bill until next year. Honestly, this is all just a stalling tactic because they want to kill the bill entirely.
Exactly.
As Taylor is already saying, these changes...
That's exactly what it is, for sure.
...will cause inflation. It's scary that if this bill doesn't pass, it's kind of hard to see a future where workers have any political power at all in this country. I can't even foresee the consequences for Australia's economy and democracy if this bill is killed. These are reforms that the Labor Party took to the last election, supported by Australians. If they don't go through, it'll be worse than the franking credit shit, because we're not in 2019 anymore. Economic conditions have dramatically shifted, and if action isn't taken soon, all those stats I mentioned at the start of the video, they are going to get worse. And that change could be permanent. So Angus, be honest about your economic vision instead of putting out piss-weak press releases and statements like, oh, Labor's IR changes clash with a low inflation goal. Just come out and say what you actually believe, like Barney Stinson did.
The problem that we've had is that we have people decided they didn't really want to work so much anymore through COVID, and that has had a massive issue on productivity. Tradies have definitely pulled back on productivity. They have been paid a lot to do not too much in the last few years, and we need to see that change. We need to see unemployment rise. Unemployment has to jump 40-50% in my view. We need to see pain in the economy. We need to remind people that they work for the employer, not the other way around.
That is the most accurate distillation.
God dang, he did. He said it with his chest too. He stood up there and said it with his chest, you feel me?
Of the coalition's economic vision for this country. They want to see pain in the economy because apparently there's not enough right now. They don't want either Labor or Labor to have power. They are ideologically opposed to Labor's pledge to aim for full employment. The coalition wants a permanent underclass of workers to bolster corporate profits, and their only solution to inflation is hurting workers to pay for the excesses of corporate Australia. So Jackie, David, why aren't you passing the bill? For now, if inflation is killing you and your wages have just started moving, I'm sorry, you're just going to have to follow Spaniard's advice, I guess.
You know what we got to do? We have to start here in Australia normalising at the point when you purchase something, at the payment point or even before it. Normalise having a discussion or at least finding out how much something costs. I know that sounds funny. Oh, why wouldn't you know how much something... You know how many times people, including myself, people in my family, my wife, you just mindlessly tap. I do it all the time. How many times have you bought something and you tap and then you just go, fuck, that was that much?
As has become our favourite sign.
I'd never do that. I've never done that. I can't. I tap a lot, but you better goddamn believe. As you scan it, I'm looking at the cash register to see what that price pop up as. I'm looking, and they also, I feel like, tell you the price before. Like the cashier will be like, all right, that'll be $75.38. You can use your card whenever you like. You can tap, you can insert whenever you like. The cashiers usually tell you exactly how much it's gonna be, but you can also look at the register. I've never not looked at the price of what I'm paying for. First on the price tag, second when I get to the register to make sure that price on the register match what the price tag say. Of course, there's gonna be taxes here in America, In Australia, I got the full price on the price tag. So, but yeah, yeah, I didn't know it was people not doing this.
And then you just go, fuck, that was that much?
As has become our favourite sign-off on this channel.
That's all we got. You guys got a favorite video suggestion? You can subscribe to Patreon and drop it in the comment section. It's your boy D Neal. Out.